Good evening, Andy Mattis. So for those of you who were here at our last meeting, I spoke about two bills, House Bill 1445 and Senate Bill 256, which essentially are bills designed to make it much more difficult for public sector unions to basically exist. What the bill does is it raises the percentage of members you need to remain certified from 50% to 60%. It also outlaws or bans any employer from being able to deduct dues from an employee's check. So essentially, you'll need 60% of the employees to self-pay their dues in order to keep your certification with the particular bargaining unit that we may have in public sector. There's a bunch of other things that go with it too. You have to re-sign them every year. You have to put on the card that this is a right to work state and it's your constitutional right not to belong to a union in 14-point font. So, you know, the bill's designed to really make it hard for public sector unions to, keep these units and to organize. It's going to a second reading in the House next week, and then it'll go for its final vote. We don't know if it'll be that Thursday or the week after, but for all intents and purposes, this bill is going to pass and the governor's going to sign it. Hopefully some things change between now and then, but we're not that optimistic that they will, because all indications are that the governor, along with the immigration bill, has made this one of his top priorities. So that's where we stand with that right now. And then there's another amendment that was filed to a minor league baseball players bill that really had nothing to do with this amendment, but somehow they found a way to squeeze it in there. It basically is a preemption bill and outlaws or bans local governments from passing living wage ordinances. So for our janitorial folks who rely on the living wage ordinance down in the airport in Miami, if this bill were to pass, they would no longer be in compliance, the county, and therefore our folks could, potentially go from making $18 an hour back down to $11 an hour because these ordinances are now going to be banned. We think we have a good shot to beat that back from what I heard today. And even the sponsor of the bill himself didn't like the amendment, but it's been a bill that we've been fighting for years, just like the dues bill, but this year the politics up there is a lot more intense, especially against working people. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you much, Andy. Wish we had better news, but we got to keep up the fight. We've got to make those phone calls. We've got to email them. If there's rallies outside some of these politicians' offices, we need to be a part of those. So please keep it up if you've been trying to support your fellow brothers and sisters with that, because this is just an attack on organized labor, an unwarranted attack on organized labor. And this thing with regard to the living wage ordinance, as Andy alluded to, we've got 600 members of this local that are covered by the living wage ordinance, and that would almost immediately mean a huge drop in what they're paying. Make no mistake, and you've heard me say it before, folks that are covered by the living wage ordinance in Miami-Dade County are fortunate to be covered by it, but they're still the working poor. I mean, $15 an hour, $18 an hour in Miami. Now the 18, you don't have health care. The 15, you would at least have health care, but very, very difficult to get by in Miami-Dade County on that. And to take that away is just, unconscionable. But that's the Florida legislature for you. So let's hope that we have some good news next month.